Hello everyone, I'm Jessicat, and welcome to my 400 subscribers special video. I've been uploading videos for over 3.5 years now, so I thought it would be a fun time to look back on the past of this channel. Specifically, I want to look back on all the series I have had on this channel over those years. So strap yourselves in, because we're about to cover a total of 18 series from September of 2016 to the current day, March 2020. As I talk about each one, you'll see footage of the relevant Minecraft world, unless that world has been lost, in which case you'll see clips from the videos. Let's start with the first series, a classic, the Survival Let's Play with Weedud. This series spanned a little over 5 months and contained 7 episodes in total. It showed me with a friend, Weedud6, who is the person who has been featured the most and the most frequently, and for the longest amount of time, on this channel. We were having all sorts of adventures in survival. I was somewhat of a noob, but we had a lot of fun, and the series included one epic episode with an hour of us pitting our wits and tireless determination against the Ender Dragon. But yes, I am speaking in past tense here. Sadly, the series never had a formal finale, but it drew to a close after Weedud and I decided to use the server we were playing on for other worlds. We were planning to come back to it sometime, but that never happened. That series is forever lost to the past, but it has left behind many wonderful memories and a fondness for savanna biomes with their orange acacia wood. Even though I rarely build with acacia, I will always love it because of that first series. Next up, a series that is very embarrassing for me, Pixel Park. With a grand total of 2 videos, this was the beginning of a project that was far too big and that I subsequently got burned out on far too quickly. The idea was to build an amusement park with one attraction for every single block and item in the game, and as you can probably guess, that was disastrously ambitious. But I still think it's a great idea, and if anyone has that amount of time and determination on their hands, they should definitely give it a shot. Anyway, I considered making this series unlisted, but I am not ashamed of the content itself per se, just of the fact that I really thought I could pull it off. So it's still there. This series never had a formal finale either, it just vanished after 2 videos. Next up, my first Christmas series, and one that I will always have fond memories of, Skyblock. With episodes initially coming out daily, this series is the story of a very inefficient playthrough of this classic Skyblock map. Things got a little frustrating as progress started to slow, and with about a month and a half passing between the 15th and 16th episodes, it's probably no surprise that there wasn't a 17th. I don't feel too bad about this one ending abruptly. It felt like there wasn't that much left to do that wouldn't have taken an extraordinarily long time. Next up, one of the series I've most enjoyed making, and the first one that actually came to a satisfying conclusion, the Nexus Quandaries. This was my first custom map playthrough besides Skyblock, and I must say the map was much more interesting than Skyblock. It is by Lucid Sigma, and you should totally go watch that series or play the map yourself if you haven't done so already. A wonderful, simple, but challenging map, it led to 4 episodes, all of which the map maker himself commented on. Lucid Sigma, if you're watching this, I still have such wonderful memories of the map. I think it might be my favorite map I've ever played, so thank you so much. And now onto a series that I have no idea how to feel about. My solo Let's Play. This series started in June of 2017, and the last episode I published was in February 2019. The weird thing is, even though that's over a year ago, the series still feels so fresh, and for so long I've been telling myself I would go back to it eventually. Funnily enough, I still think I could do that. What do you all think of me bringing back the solo Let's Play world? I think it could be fun, and I had a lot of ideas that I really liked for that world. There are a lot of things that got left unfinished that I would love to build upon, no pun intended, and for me the series never felt abandoned either, just postponed. Let me know in the comments what you think of coming back to it. Next up is a somewhat informal series that I never intended to turn into a series to begin with, the videos about which items are renewable. The first video was published in August of 2017, but several comments about some mistakes I made prompted a second video to correct it in December of that year. Then I made another video about which resources are renewable in December of 2019 for the Buzzy Bees update. These videos are really fun to make and think about, so I'm planning to do a new one for each major update from now on. So even though it's a bit weird and very sporadic, this series is still going. Next up is another map playthrough, this one with other people. This was the map Void Matrix by Explosive Fridge. I was playing not only with Weedud, but also with my brother Luke and my sister Natalie. The series was 5 episodes long and slightly chaotic because we managed to break the map, but we found ways around the difficulties and finished it. It was a fun map, if somewhat laggy and difficult at times. Next came another Christmas series, a Skyblock Season 2, where my goal was to play smarter and finish as many of the map's objectives as I could. Once again, it started out with daily episodes that then slowed down once the holiday season ended. And once again, it did not have a formal finale, although we completed a few goals in the 16th episode and built a nice lake. So all in all, I'd say it had a nice informal ending. Around that time, I began consistently live streaming and did a series of live streams I called a building experiment. This consisted of trying to build a very large building in a custom world, and it was a ton of fun, but sadly it never went very far. And also I have now lost a decent amount of the progress in that world, as you can see from this video of one of the live streams versus this footage of the only backup of the world I own. This series never had a formal conclusion either, although honestly I wouldn't mind going back and live streaming some more building, so I'm gonna call this one postponed too. Let me know if you want me to come back to it. There was also a very short series around this time consisting of just 2 episodes, where I played through Lucid Sigma's other map, which was called The Wooden Puzzles. It was a simpler map, but still fun, and satisfactorily concluded in the 2nd episode. Next came another map series, another one of my absolute favorites, Super Slime Lab by MC_Da. This was a series with 6 episodes and a wonderfully creative map with a simple concept and puzzles that got progressively more and more difficult as I went along. Once again, the map maker left comments on the videos, which was very much appreciated, and although I was often stumped for a very long time, I eventually made it through every level. Next was another short series, a 2-part playthrough of the Minecon MC Edit Dropper map, which was showcased during Minecon Earth in 2018. It was a very fun map with a lot of interesting levels, and I got through them without too much difficulty. Just after that began a series in an absolutely incredible map, the famous Terra Swoop Force made by Nox Crew, which I played through with Weedud and both of my siblings. This series was also only 2 episodes, which surprised me when I looked back at it, because in my mind it was a lot longer. That's probably because the levels were fairly challenging, and we spent a very long time playing through that map, but also had a ton of fun. Next came another map by MC_Da, this one called Planetary Parkour. It was a map that involved jumping in different kinds of gravity, which was super fun. I mostly played it on live streams, and there were several jumps that were very frustrating, which I had to keep trying over and over, but eventually I made it all the way through. And now we come to what is without a doubt my favorite series so far. Mountain Queen. This survival series started on a realm with a few friends, but then the realm was abandoned and I switched to playing solo. There have now been 10 episodes of Mountain Queen, and there will be an 11th on its way very soon. This world had a very different playstyle from other survival worlds I've played in, and has led to some of my favorite projects ever. This series is very much still going strong, and I'm excited to see what I can do with it next. Alongside that, however, I also have to mention 30 Stories, which is an absolute tragedy. 30 Stories was a series I did on the same realm as Mountain Queen. Originally, the owner of the realm switched back and forth between the 2 worlds, one creative, one survival, and 30 Stories was a project I started in the creative world where I built a skyscraper with a different mini, air quotes, story on each floor. I was extremely disappointed when the realm got shut down, and unlike with Mountain Queen, I was unable to retrieve a world download for that world. So for now, I will consider this series abandoned. However, I really loved that project, and maybe someday I'll rebuild it and continue it. You never know. Next up is Nemesis Winds of Time, a map by Nava. I played this one with Weedud and my siblings as well, and it was a lot of fun. It yielded 5 videos plus a top secret video that I'm very surprised that no one has found yet. Hint hint. Although the map got horrifically laggy at times, we still enjoyed it a lot. And last but not least comes Uncut Ramblings, which is, to be totally honest, a filler series. However, just because it's filler doesn't mean it's not good, and although it is unedited, I'm still quite fond of Uncut Ramblings. It's a series where I do mundane tasks in my Mountain Queen world while talking about things I think are important in real life, such as communication, skepticism, music, writing, and many other things. So it's a bit like philosophy podcasts meets distractive Minecraft Let's Play. The series is still going and will probably keep going for a very long time. And with that, my friends, we have successfully made it through all of the series I have ever had on my channel. If you go to the playlists section of my channel, you can watch any of the series I have just mentioned, as well as a playlist of my favorite videos that I've ever made. I hope you enjoyed this little retrospective journey and maybe learned a thing or two. In case you're curious, of the 18 series I have just gone through, 5 were abandoned, 8 were satisfactorily finished, 2 were postponed, and 3 are still going. I'm slightly ashamed of the number of abandoned series, and if you feel really strongly about any of these, be sure to let me know in the comments and I might make more episodes. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for subscribing, and here's to much more content. I will see you on Wednesday for a live stream, and if not, next week for another video. Bye!